What's up? What's up? What's
Hello,
up?
good
Good evening. Good
evening.
evening. Good evening. It's 9 o'clock. It's Thursday, and guess where we are?
On
On
the
the
couch.
couch. Hope your week has gone well. Hope your day has gone better, and you're looking forward to an enjoyable weekend. This weekend in particular is Mother's Day weekend.
Yay. Happy
Shout
Mother's
out to
Day,
all the mothers.
moms.
Hope that you enjoy your Mother's Day. Hope that you have a fabulous time doing absolutely nothing or doing everything that you want to do, enjoy to do. We certainly want to, from this couch, say that we love all mothers and we're grateful for your
Yes, we are
commitment as
moms.
well as your sacrifice. We appreciate it and we are so eternally grateful for it. I shout out to my mama in love, and everybody who is a mother. We're certainly grateful for you guys. But there's one mother in particular that I must gush over. She's so lovely. She's so wonderful. And without her, I wouldn't be a daddy. So I want to shout out to my queen, the queen of my castle, the love of my life, the sunshine in my heart, my wife, my beautiful wife, the mother of my 4 children that she gave birth to. Thank you so much for being a wonderful mother, for being a great friend. And I'm just so in awe of the 4 young people that you pour into on a daily basis, sometimes on accident, but most of the time on purpose. And so I'm so grateful for you and watching you be the mother that you are. So I hope that you feel appreciated and I hope that you feel loved and I hope that you get some rest this
Yes,
weekend in the name of
in the
Jesus.
name. We all need that.
In the name. So if y'all, well, I ain't gonna say if y'all listening because I know my full shit just best to not be listening. It's grown folk time. Uh, but I have talked to my kids, and I think that yeah, I think you're gonna be pleased. I think you'll be pleased.
Oh,
All
praise the
right.
Lord.
Well, it's Thursday. It is after 9 o'clock, and we're here on the couch. That's Veta,
And he's Mac.
and this is
Couch
Couch Conversations.
Conversations.
We're so glad about it. Listen, we're excited. I'm excited. She's excited. Everybody's excited. People have been posting on social media their excitement. They've been commenting ever since we posted the flyer for tonight. Is tonight's show? Ever since they heard about the series that we're doing, we're going to be doing a series all month long in May about wedding vows. So
Yay.
tonight is
That's why we here.
part one of the vows series. That's right. For the entire month of May, we're going to be talking about wedding vows. We're going to be breaking them down, and we're going to be discussing them, unpacking them, and in some cases, reminding you
Yeah,
of them
we
and
do need reminders.
getting into the meaning of them. So we're excited about that. We're looking forward to that, and we have a very, very exciting show planned for May 27th. That's the last Thursday of the month. So please mark your calendars for May 27th at 9 p.m. We have a very exciting show planned for that. That will be the culmination of our vows series. That will be the last episode in the series, the month of May. And there are a lot of good things, great things, wonderful things about May 27th. And we will be dropping hints and gems to those all
Mm.
month long. And so I want you to please, matter of fact, while I'm talking about it right now,
Meet me at
jump
the
over to,
altar,
wait a minute, hold
enjoy
on.
waitress.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's what you said.
That's what I
We don't
said.
get
And
no
she did it.
other.
Praise the Lord.
God will do
I didn't have to wait long.
it.
She came on down the aisle. But yeah, May 27th, mark it on your calendars. Make sure that you have the time slot blocked out. Listen, normally you like to listen while you're doing work. Normally you like to have us running in the background while you're doing some house stuff or you're wrapping up your day. But this time on May 27th, I want you to lock away that hour, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Join us on the couch, but make sure you're not doing anything else for that 1 hour because what we have in store for you, what we've got planned, you're not going to want to miss. You're
We're
not going to want to
excited.
be distracted. So please, 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 please make sure that you're with us May 27th. Meet with us every week, but make sure that May 27th you take extra steps in preparation to be with us because we're excited. All right. Tonight is May 6th. And so we're going to jump in to the part one of our vows series entitled When For Better Becomes For Worse. Ooh, crickets. Look at that.
I was like,
Listen, you remember your vows. At least I hope you remember your vows. When you gave those vows, and the pastor told you, he told the husband, he told the wife, well, he told the groom and the bride to repeat after him, and and then you state your name, and I solemnly swear, I give my word that I'm going to take care of you, love you, cherish you, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, for better or for worse. Some people don't even put the or in there. They just say for better, for worse, in richer, poorer, sickness, and in health. They don't give you the and or, they don't give you the option, because the reality is life and marriage don't give you the option.
right.
If you're married, you don't get the option of either this or
Or
that.
that,
It's a
right.
question of which day we gonna see it.
Right. But some people choose.
Some people do
Some people
choose.
like, yeah, I'm out on worse.
It's like a job. I ain't showing up that day because we
Yeah,
got the
which is
delivery truck.
sad, but I mean that's what happens in some marriages. It's like, yeah, I said for better only. I didn't mean for worse.
I whispered that part.
I
I
whispered. I ain't
look.
said where
I had
everybody
my
could hear
fingers
me.
crossed behind my back. You didn't notice that part.
Oh goodness.
It's a struggle. It's a challenge. We don't want to do the for worse part, because for worse can mean so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking everything. They focus on or they list the for richer for poorer part,
Mm-hmm.
in sickness, in health, for better, for worse. What is the definition of worse? How do we define worse? Because when you think about it, being in marriage, first of all, marriage vows are promises. It's a commitment. It's a declaration of my intentions,
Mm-hmm.
from one partner to the other in the wedding ceremony. The vows are really the most important part of the ceremony.
Yeah.
Most people would say, "Oh, it's all about the dress." I disagree. "Oh, how many people in your bridal party?" That's fine. Are we gonna have a flower girl? Are we gonna have the unity candle?
Right.
Are we gonna do the unity sand? God help us if there are kids involved, and
Right.
do we bring the kids in, and make a commitment and a vow to the children?
Right.
Because now we're a blended family. There's so many different dynamics that go into the ceremony. Without the vows, you're in trouble.
Right.
You're in trouble.
Only because all of that is for. I mean, not for show, but I mean, you see all of that,
Hmm.
and then after is the work.
Yeah,
After the
that's right.
wedding ceremony,
Hmm.
then comes the work.
Yeah.
And some people just like, oh, I just want to stay on that high where it
Hmm.
was just lovely roses and petals and
Yeah.
my dress and my hair was beautiful and
Right.
all of this and
Right.
everybody was happy. I mean, some people was happy, but but we want to stay there. I mean, we
Yeah.
do want to stay there in our marriage, but it will take work. Just like it took work for you to plan the wedding,
Right.
it's going to take work for you to conquer and go through
Say that.
your marriage for better or for worse
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
till death do us
Yeah. Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
It's going to take work.
Hmm.
So you have to remember that it's going to take work. It doesn't matter how you feel on one day, you still married.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he say or what she says on the other day, you're
Hello.
still married.
That's right.
You took those vows,
That's right.
you have to make them work.
Yeah, we're not married because you're saying all the right things.
Right.
We're married because we agreed to be married.
Yes.
Marriage is a state of being. It's not a choice that we enter into and walk away. It's not like Burger King. You don't have it your way. You
Right.
take it as it comes. Now you
Yeah.
can make it what you want it to
Yes,
be,
you can.
but the reality is life will come at you and it will impact your marriage. Life will come at you and it will help shape your marriage,
Yeah.
because your marriage will be the reflection of how you and your spouse collectively
Right.
respond to
Hmm.
life.
And you married that person. So you took the vow to say, whatever we go through, I'm glad it's you that I'm
That's
doing
right.
it with.
That's so good.
Because
That's so
some
good.
people forget that you said that.
Hmm.
It might not be in the vows, but that was the promise
Right.
for better, for worse. That person that you said I do to,
Hmm.
it means that you will do whatever to make it work.
That's it.
When you don't keep those vows
Yeah.
in your mind, you just go off of feeling like, I don't feel like it today.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you can have feelings, but don't give up on your marriage. Don't give
Right.
up on your spouse
Yeah.
because they need you just like you need them.
Yeah. The challenge I think a lot of people have, and at least this is what I'm getting as I'm counseling people, as I'm talking to people, as I'm listening to the challenges and issues that people are having, what I've noticed is a lot of people tend to punish the marriage because of what life takes from them.
Yeah,
They're going to
that's so
hold the
good.
marriage hostage
Yes.
because life threatens them.
It's just like, well, guess what I'm gonna do?
Right. Right.
Because you made me mad. Well,
Right.
get over it.
Yeah.
People in life gonna make you mad.
Hello.
I mean,
Listen,
you don't have a job every day because your job make you mad, do you?
but we still go back
But we still go back
because that
constantly
paycheck,
because of
because that
yeah.
paycheck and then
Well, marriage is
benefits.
not gonna pay you.
Listen, you've got to invest
It only
in
pays you in
marriage
love,
for
not
the long term.
yes, long
Yes.
term.
Yes. There are some days where the marriage will slide you a little dividend here or there. You'll get a little bonus
Yeah,
check,
you
a
will.
little something, something, little gas money. But the reality is you're paying into, building into, investing into your marriage for the long run.
Yes.
Those latter years, those twilight years after the kids are gone,
Yep.
after you have reached the pinnacle in your vocation, after you have achieved all of those bucket list situations, what have
After
you.
we have gained weight and we don't look like we did when we first got
Wait a minute,
married.
hold on now, hold on. I got to.
I'm just speaking for me.
No, you
Cause
ain't.
why?
It applies to me too.
I mean,
In the
I'm
name,
speaking for me. I'm not going to say that about you just because you feel that way, but
amen. And see, that's the
I'm
that's
not I'm
see,
not going to down you like that. I
but
will
that's
speak
that
for
good marriage.
myself.
That's that marriage dividend right there being paid off.
I'm not a size 6 like I was when we first got married.
Were you a six when we got married?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't think so.
remember. I mean, I was smaller than I am now.
Not by much though.
Not by much.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't gained a lot of weight over the years, and okay, amen. Producer saying, bring it back. So but that's it though. That's it. That's really the heart of what we're
That is,
saying.
it's going to change.
You change, I change, people change, our physiques
Yes.
change, and as a result of that, our self-perception changes.
Yes.
And to your point that you just made, you're not holding me accountable or responsible for the weight that I feel I've gained.
Right.
You hear people say, I got to get in shape. We always in a shape. You may not be
Just
in
not
the
the
shape
shape
you
that you
want,
want to
but you in a shape.
pick one.
And I'm in the shape that I don't want to be in.
An octagon. That's what my kids say. Octagon. That got
Woo.
eight sides.
Listen,
Octagon.
on my side, yeah, my sides blend together. The challenge is when you're in that for worse, it can be because self perception changes.
hmm
If I do not have a healthy self perception, if I don't see myself in a healthy way, then I'm running the risk of rejecting your positive reinforcement.
hmm
You may say, like you just did, I'm not worried
Yeah.
about that.
I love you.
Right.
Yeah.
And regardless of what shape you're in. And for the other spouse, they may say that's not true because I don't love me
hmm
in the shape that I'm in, or I don't love me because of the shape that I'm
Right.
in. So
Right.
how can you possibly, we'll struggle with that. Those are those four worst moments when there's discourse or you're not on the same page
Right.
for various reasons. And generally, your marriage will be in a four worst position when you're not on the same page
Right.
about perception, finances,
Right.
raising the children, vocation, the home, vacation. There are so many different things, but what?
Said vacation twice.
No, it's
Oh,
vocation.
I was like, oh, you said
Yeah,
that twice.
yeah. Where you
Okay.
work at, how you working, how you making your money. But it's so true. Many couples don't go into marriage thinking that it will ever be difficult because, like you said earlier, they're riding the high
Yeah.
of the wedding day,
Yes.
or maybe even the honeymoon. But
Right.
they miss the reality that there are going to be some tough days in the marriage
Right.
for many different reasons. We had the occasion to introduce our firstborn to the movie Love Jones. She's never seen it, and so she's
I
struggling with the
gotta
movie.
love Jones.
That movie's so telling about life because they met, and the young couple, they got to know each other a little bit,
hmm
and they thought, are we moving too fast? But it feels right. It's working. And then all of a sudden, life happened. It got in the way,
Mhm.
and they called it quits. Now they were never actually married in the movie, but the point is, the minute that life got in the way, they started going to the separate corners. They
Yeah.
started separating, and it's so true that if we're not careful, life will happen, and we'll want to retreat
Right.
from the place of euphoria
Mhm.
rather than run into it. The young man in the movie, he said something very profound. I don't even think the writers of the movie knew how profound the statement was. The young lady said, "Don't you want to know what I did with the other guy before you?"
Mhm.
And he said, "I learned a long time ago not to ask questions I don't want to know the answer to."
Mhm.
And that is so profound. And yet, many of us in our marriages, when it comes to those moments of for worse, we'll ask a question we really don't want to know the answer to because we think we want to know.
Right.
I just got to know. But then what do you do
But
with the
then when you,
information?
once you get it, just like,
All right.
oh,
Now you can't forget
now
it.
you just can't. Yeah.
Yeah, you struggle with that because first of all, you set yourself up to have information that you didn't need, nor do you have a purpose for once you receive it.
Mhm.
And now you're mad at your spouse because they gave you the
Right.
information. If you, I wish you'd never told me. Well, you asked. You shouldn't have asked. You shouldn't have persisted if you didn't want to know. But there's so many different ways that our marriages can turn from the for better to the for worse. And I want to be clear before we move too far down the road with this. When you're making those vows for better, for worse, there is no or. You could almost say for better and
And
for
for
worse,
worse.
because it's inevitable. The longer you're with somebody, there are going to be some for worse moments.
I mean,
And
hey, the longer we in life,
yeah,
there's going
the
to be
longer
worse.
you
So
live,
when
there's
you
going to
do
be some
life
worse. Yep,
with somebody else,
that's it.
that's double worse.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we've got to get to the place where we just accept the reality that there's going to be some for worse days and there's going to be some for worse days, some for better days and some. Did I
Something
say
for
that
worse.
twice?
Yeah.
I think I said
You
for
said
worse
for
twice.
worse twice.
I did. I told y'all it's been a day. Listen, the manual labor. I'm fussing at myself. I don't have my wedding ring on, but I was doing manual labor today. I wasn't sitting at the computer today. I ain't been behind my computer until 2 hours ago. I've been doing some manual labor, so I'm brother a little tired. But anyway, some interesting facts that I came across. As of 2016, marriage rates and divorce rates in the United States are decreasing. Fewer people are getting divorced, fewer people are getting married.
It's like balance.
Recent studies have shown that millennials are choosing to wait longer to get married and are staying married longer and are the main driver in the decline of both the marriage and divorce rate in the United States. So, because they're waiting longer to get married, the marriage rate is going down. People who are getting married, that number is going down because they're waiting longer to get married. And one of the other statistics connected to that is the fact that, where is it, 60% of all divorces involve individuals age 25 to 39.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The
young.
yeah, yeah. The
Mm.
average marriage, or should I say, persons who get married at or before 21, the average length of a marriage ends in divorce after 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's you just making the batter. You ain't even cooked the cake yet.
And the challenge I believe they're having is they went into it blindly.
Yeah.
They entered into the marriage with the wrong concept of what it takes. Think about, you got a job and you thought it was going to be the best job ever and you were going to enjoy it and you were going to get so much from it. And then you started working there and realized you're putting more in than you're getting out. And we want to quit that job and go find a new one
Right.
because I'm not it's not what I thought it would be.
Mhm.
And the challenge is, with marriage, many people are quitting because it's not what they thought it would be, but they haven't put anything into it
Right.
except the wedding day.
Right.
And if you notice, it's not the marriage day, it's the wedding day.
Right.
you say your marriage vows
Mhm.
on your wedding day.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah, isn't it a show called 90 Day Marriage or something like that?
90 Day
90 Days
Fiance.
Fiance, 90 Day. Yeah.
There's one Married at First Sight or something like that. All these crazy shows that are just really emphasizing the drama that goes into
Yeah.
really what I'm calling a shotgun marriage.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's the problem. That's probably the wrong term.
But what is it when we think of getting, cuz when I was younger, that's all I thought about. "Oh, I'm going to get married. I'm going to
Hmm.
do." I did the MASH game. I don't know if anybody remembers the MASH game where you write the word MASH and you do like a mansion, I forgot what the A was. Uh house, whatever, car, whatever, not car, but KC is not in MASH, but it was something where you write up,
Automobile,
I don't remember.
mansion,
Somebody
automobile,
s-
house, and I don't know.
spouse or something, I don't know.
That's the only thing left. So yeah.
But you would write all of that stuff, and I remember doing that, and like, I'm gonna have this type of car, I'm gonna have this house, I'm gonna have this many kids, which I wanted six. I almost made it. and and I never even saw marriage in my life growing up, like physically, like living in a household where there were married people. Just because um I have older siblings, but I never saw their marriages, like how they worked it out, how they um communicated. Um and like my mom, who I don't think she I can't remember when she got married, but I was older. But not seeing that part of marriage, is like sitting down and say, "Hey, this is what you're supposed to uh do in your marriage, or say in your marriage, or this is how you're supposed to be." But I do remember one thing that my mom always said to us.
Oh shucks, here it come.
Even in dating, she
Hmm.
always said this. Even when dating, and then once I got married, she would always say the same thing. No matter how that person treats you, you still be the same person that they met when you met. Like, so she would say, when we got married, she would say, like, you know how you would have arguments and then you wouldn't speak,
Hmm.
and she would say, "Still fix him dinner, Vetta. You know he gonna need to eat, and apologize, and
Okay.
don't be mean, and talk to him, and you still got to be the good wife that he
Hmm.
knows that you can be, even in your disagreements."
Right. Right.
But she always stuck that in my head, like, even though you have disagreements, or you're not talking one day, or you go to bed upset, which you shouldn't do,
Yeah.
you're angry, you should still do your, I don't want to say wifely duties. That sounds so
Spousely duties,
spousely. Like, you should still,
because it goes both ways.
yeah, you should still be the person that that person loves.
Right.
And regardless of the fact that you're angry at each other, or you cursing each other out, because some people have arguments,
Listen.
but she always taught us to always be loving and kindness, no matter what, no matter what the situation is. Still show. She would always be like, still show him that
Right.
that he means something to you,
Yeah. Yeah.
no matter how he talks to you, or no matter
Yeah.
whatever. And unless it's like physical
Yeah.
or whatever, she would always say, "No, get out of there."
Yeah. Yeah.
But she would always make it a point to say, even in those hard times, always be kind and
Right.
loving.
Yeah. And that's true. That's the important part, because that's how the for worse becomes the for better.
Yeah.
And it's important that we do that. You getting ahead of me. You got notes.
Oh,
But
I'm
no,
in your
that's a good
notes.
point. Thank you, Mama Peaches. Love ya.
Thank you, mommy.
One of the things I wanted to throw out there before we move too deep into this, one of the reasons that people give for getting a divorce, according to a national survey, 73% of people who gave a reason for a divorce said that their reason was lack of commitment.
Really?
73% of people said
I would have thought
their
they said
reason was
cheating.
infidelity was 55%.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought I would say. Okay.
But watch this. Arguing too much was 56%.
Why they got a divorce?
Why they got a divorce.
One over
1% more.
than cheating?
More people felt arguing too much was more important or more impactful.
That's all we did in our first 5
That's not
years.
all we
I mean, that's
did.
not all we did, but I mean, you getting to know each other. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
you supposed to debate. We don't say argue.
Debate,
You're supposed to
discuss.
debate, discuss.
Yes, yes. You should have some, and it might be a spirited discussion.
A spirited
Yes, you're
discussion.
passionate about
You
that.
so passionate.
Very
Calm
passionate.
down.
Listen, I told y'all go read the book, Divorced Over Toilet Paper. It's not a game. But 73% of the people said lack of commitment. And commitment is what's required to go from for worse to for better. Because if I'm not committed to seeing it through, if I'm not committed to enjoying the marriage more
Right.
than I endure the marriage, then I'm going to give up. And then you become married to a stranger. You become married to an individual who's not there.
Well, when we're guess I'm confused. Like I'm lost over. It's like when you were dating your spouse or when
Mhm,
we were dating,
mhm.
did we communicate about that stuff? Like, did we say, "Hey, I guess you don't communicate about commitment"? Yes, you do,
You communicate
because it's just
about
like you in or
commitment.
out. Like, are we doing this or we not
Mhm.
doing
See, the
it?
value in dating a person longer than 90 days
Yeah,
or longer than a 3-month show on television, the value in that is you get to see their body language speak to their level of commitment.
yeah,
If I'm committed to us, then you'll see that in how I conduct myself. You'll see that in the choices that I make. Excuse me. You'll see that um, in the way that I live out my life as a result of your presence.
hmm,
If I'm committed to us, then every little thing, hey, I'm about to go hang out with the fellas, but I'll call you when we didn't have any plans.
hmm.
If we're dating, but I'm committed to there being an us.
Isn't that why you always, well, you say, well, you try to teach the girls and the kids, like
Mhm.
when you're dating someone to at least date them for a year,
Two,
2 years,
two
because you
years,
get to see the
every
seasons,
season
how
of
they
life.
react to seasons of life, how if something, God forbid, a funeral or something happen, how they um, decompress or
Mhm.
how their actions
Yeah,
are when that happens, or when there's a birth in the family, birthdays, holidays. You get to see all of those things and how they communicate with their family
right,
for reunions or
right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
How they communicate with their siblings or their parents. You get to see all of that, especially if you're around them constantly. Um, how long did we date? 2?
2 years.
2 years, yeah. So we saw all of that.
Yeah.
And you still married me.
Listen, listen.
Oh
I'm
goodness.
trying to tell you, God is good. That's all I can say. Um,
'Cause you saw everything.
I did,
Heard
I
everything.
did. I was around the family, and yeah,
We're not silent people.
no, no, they are very, very, very well spoken, very well spoken, very, very well spoken. Now, I don't want you to think that we're spending this entire show focused on why people get divorced.
No.
What we're saying here is that when you stood before God and the priest, minister, preacher, whomever, pastor, whomever, and the witnesses in the room, and you stated those vows, when you said, for better, for worse, what you said was, I'm with you no matter what.
Right.
And that's the key that we have to get back to. You heard us say in the beginning of the series, in the beginning of the show, rather, that marriage is a covenant
A covenant.
and not a commitment. We forget that. And I'm sorry,
A
not a
con a
contract.
contract,
We
yes.
forget that sometimes because we're always looking for what we can get
Yeah.
rather than focusing on what we need to give.
'Cause a contract you can get out of
Easily,
easily.
easily with a
Oh,
lawyer.
with the yeah, with the Lord, yeah, yeah.
And for the record, in case you were wondering, it costs you about $15,000 to get a divorce.
Mm,
Okay, so the point is, when you're trying to go to deal with life, to deal with the marriage, when for better becomes for worse, The first step is acknowledging there's going to be a full worse in your marriage.
Yeah.
Your marriage will hit a rocky season.
Yes, it
It
will.
will have some turbulent times. Just as the rain falls on the just and the unjust, as the Bible teaches, so will your marriage have some for worse days and some for better days.
Yes.
The key is through accepting that reality,
Mhm.
trying to minimize the for worse days, trying to minimize the for worse seasons.
Mhm.
And that's a challenge. That's very difficult for a lot of people because I want to be right. I want to be heard. I want to be seen. I want to be acknowledged. And the minute you don't do any one of those or all of those, or you give me two out of the three or five or what have you, now we got a problem.
Mhm.
We get in trouble when uh, there's too much time to focus on the wrong thing.
Mhm.
Going back to the movie reference in Love Jones, if you haven't seen it, it's a pretty good movie. Great soundtrack. Um,
It's not about marriage.
oh, that's true. Okay, we'll leave it out. Moving right along. But there are a lot of good movies
Why
out
did I
there.
get married? It's
Oh, I don't want to talk about those movies.
That's a good movie.
I don't want to talk. I can't. I can't talk about those movies. I can't. I got to leave those out because I got to stay away from those because I struggle. I have my own issues with it. There was a lot going on with those four couples. Let me tell you, in the first one and the second one,
Yeah.
there was a lot going on. Now they do teach you a lot, and they do give you good insight into marriage and relationships, and all of that. The challenge is
And it gets you pondering.
it. Yes, it will have you
At the end, yes,
thinking.
it will
It
have
will
you
have you
thinking.
wondering. It will have you
Like, cause that
guessing.
is a question. Why did you get married?
Yeah,
Did you get married to constantly fight? Did you get married to hate your spouse?
yeah,
Did you get married to um be unworthy? Did you
yeah,
get married to cheat? Did you
yeah.
get it's so many questions. I mean, so many answers that can come after that question.
Yeah, but
Why
none
did
of them are a one-word answer.
yeah, oh no.
See, that's the hard part.
Why did I get
Why
married?
did I get married?
Yes.
Did I get
No.
married for this? No. Yet when you say why did I get married, if your answer begins with a negative, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Why did I get married? I didn't get married for this. Nope, you're in the wrong frame of mind.
Right, right,
Why did I get married? Why did you get married? Well, I didn't get married to not have. You're in the wrong frame of
right,
mind. We've got to be in the right frame of mind to focus on the why I did get married. Why did I say yes? Why did I ask the question? Why did we stand in front of the priest and the people to give those vows, to declare those vows, to enter into the covenant relationship with our spouse? Why did I get married?
that should be a question for each other, spouses. Ask your spouse, why did you get married?
You should ask yourself first
Yes. Oh, yes.
because
Ask
I can't
yourself
tell
first.
you if I haven't told me.
That's true. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
clarity.
Yeah. I need to ask myself, why did I get married? I can tell people all day long why I married you. Why did I ask
Right.
you to marry me? And people say, why her? Why did you marry her? Why did you choose her? And one of the reasons that I give is I wanted to give you all of the things that were great out of the world. I wanted to show you all of the things in the world that were great and good. And there were things in the world that I wanted to do that I only wanted to do with you.
Oh, that's good.
Multiple reasons. It's a multifaceted. I didn't get married for just one
Just
reason.
one reason, right.
It's a multifaceted response. But I always had to ask myself that question: why did I get married? I did not get married to get.
Right.
I got married to give.
Oh, amen. That's
Yeah.
good.
Because at the end of the day, I will receive more when I give more away.
Right.
It's the age old expression: the more you give away, the more you get to give
Hmm.
away. And when you understand the principles of love as God ordained them, then you'll
Yes.
understand when He says, "I'll fill your cup to overflow. I'll give you more than you have room enough to give." That's not just money.
Right.
That's not just finances. That's not material things. If you are saying, God, I want to love my spouse the way you love me, then God will fill your heart to overflow with love so that you have no choice
Right.
but to pour it out onto your spouse. But you've got to understand the godly principles of love. And you've got to understand the godly principles of the dynamics of marriage that he intended for them.
Hmm.
Even though you go back to Genesis and he said it's not good for man to be alone, so we'll create him a helpmate. Well, what God was saying was there are things that man will do, needs to do, and there should be someone there to do them with.
Right.
That's the key.
Mhm.
Man had already gotten his job, he had already gotten his purpose, he had already gotten his assignment. God said, I got all these things for you to do. I'm going to give you somebody to do them with.
Mhm.
And that's where that came from. We were meant to be partners.
And in the garden, Adam and
Oops.
Eve saw it worse.
Oh, Jesus. Listen, listen. Say that again.
Adam and Eve saw worse.
They saw the
They
worst.
saw the first worst.
And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So when for better becomes for worse, what do you do? The first thing you have to do is remember that you made the vows.
Mhm.
We get challenged. Oh Lord, it's too much. I can't, it's too much. I can't take it. I can't take it. Because we're always arguing or I was
Mhm.
bickering or there's never enough money or we need a bigger house or we need a bigger we fuss and fight over what we think we don't have
Mhm.
rather than discuss and determine what we do need to do with what we do have.
Mhm.
The focus has to be proper. The focus has to be correct so that you can move from the place that you don't want to be in
Right.
to the place that you do. The challenge we keep having is we're forgetting that we, the husband and the wife, the man and the woman, both spouses have a responsibility to making sure the marriage has the resources it needs to grow and thrive.
Yes, yes.
That's why the sign says, happy spouse, happy house, because the spouses are responsible for making the home happy,
Mhm.
not the home responsible for making the spouses happy.
Or not the wife, or not the husband only. I'm saying
Right,
only, or not
right.
just only the wife, or
Yeah.
not just only the
Yeah,
husband.
listen, those days are gone
Yeah.
where you may have one spouse that works and one spouse that stays home.
Yeah.
But in 2021, that's not always the husband's the breadwinner and the wife stays home.
That's right.
There was a season in our marriage where I didn't have a job.
Right.
Your man was broke, your man was unemployed, and she went to
Yeah,
work.
but we made the best of it. I think that's the key.
Yeah,
When you communicate, and it wasn't a burden.
yeah.
Like, you have to communicate the fact that, well, one of us is out of a job, so we have to do this. We gotta budget. We gotta do that. We gotta, and this is where this is going to take place. Like, you have to. That's the most important
Mm.
thing in marriages is communication.
Communication is not just key.
Communication.
Communication is the cornerstone to any healthy, successful marriage.
Yes,
Communicate. We have to talk about it.
we gotta
Have the
talk.
hard conversations, have the not so hard conversations. You've got to be able to say to your spouse, listen, the way that you're going about that is probably not the best way to go.
Bring it to the table.
Talk about it.
Yeah, talk
Put it
about it.
out there because,
Don't worry. Like, he always tells me, I don't care what you have a problem with. If I'm gonna get mad, I'll get mad. But tell me, don't
yeah,
lie to me.
yeah,
That's what he say in the beginning all the time. I was not good at that in the beginning. In the beginning.
in the
In the
beginning.
beginning. There was challenges.
Listen,
But you have to communicate if you love that
yeah,
person.
you have to. You have to. Because communication solves a lot
Hmm.
and it solves more than holding it in, keeping it to yourself will ever avoid. We
Hmm.
don't talk about it because we're trying to avoid things. The problem is you stay focused on what you're trying to avoid
Hmm.
and you're not avoiding it because you're focused on trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
It's an oxymoron almost. But if you just talk about it and put it out there, now you're not burdened with carrying it by yourself. One of the biggest secrets that we keep has nothing to do with our spouse.
Hmm.
Well, I didn't want to bother you with it. That's the wrong attitude. We're spouses. We're supposed to be bothered by everything.
But what if the one spouse speaks up and says, "This is how I feel. This is how I feel.
Hmm.
You're making me feel this way. This
Hmm.
is how I feel." And the other spouse is just like, "Well, I feel that way too." Like, they become the victim.
Hmm.
Like, "No, you make me feel that way."
Yeah.
And no, I don't want to hear, like, how does that work?
How does
I mean, how can you resolve that? I guess I'm saying.
okay.
How can you resolve that
Yeah.
situation?
So it is focus. And then that goes back to remembering your vows. My vows to you, husband to wife, me to you, are just that. What I am committing to doing for you
Mhm.
and with you. So my focus is on you. People who come to the spouse, hey, listen, I got a problem. When you did this the other day, it really made me feel this way. And then the response is, well, when you did what you did six
Yeah.
weeks ago, it made me. That means that your focus is not on me.
Right.
Your focus is on you. And that's the
So
problem.
you just didn't hear nothing
Did
that
you
the other
you
person
yeah,
said.
because you're looking at the wrong thing,
Yeah.
or in this sense, you're looking at the wrong spouse. One of the concepts that I teach people is about cheating. I can cheat on you with myself
Mhm.
because if your focus is on me 100% and my focus is on me 100%, well, I'm getting 200% focus
Right.
and you're getting nothing.
Right.
Cheating, by definition, at its core, at its root, is having an unfair advantage over someone else.
Mhm.
So if you're giving everything you have to me and I'm giving you 90%, but that other 10% is going to me, well, I got 110
Mhm.
because I have your 100 plus my 10, and
Mhm.
all you're getting is 90. I'm cheating.
Yeah.
I can cheat on you with me by focusing on me.
Right.
I might not ever touch another woman. I might not ever touch another man. Hey, it's 2021. But I may never have any kind of relationship extra with anybody outside of us.
Right.
But if I give any more attention to myself than is necessary, then I'm cheating on you.
Right.
I'm just doing it with myself.
And that could be the worst in some marriages,
That absolutely is
which
the
is a
worst.
challenge.
Because
Which.
because what you're doing is saying, I'm more important than you are.
Mhm.
And that's not part of the
And I'm going to
marriage
fulfill
vows.
my.
I'm gonna take
I'm
care of
gonna take
me.
care of me
Right,
and not care about you,
right.
which can be dangerous.
Yeah. A lot of people had those, and I think we brushed on this when we did the show about insecurities. Go back and check it on YouTube. The challenge that a lot of people have is they are insecure. And so whenever they are presented with a situation that might diminish their self perception, if you're coming to me saying that something I did or said wasn't perfect or
Mhm.
wasn't right or wasn't good,
Mhm.
then that threatens my self perception.
But I think everybody has insecurities.
They do.
Even if it's not like something like in the face of the other spouse. Like you could have an insecurity about um like yourself, your image.
Mhm.
Or you can have an insecurity about, oh, that color on the wall doesn't look right. So, oh my goodness. I mean, that's not about yourself, but that's an insecurity. An insecurity about things that happen. No, speak. Don't be quiet.
I'm processing what you
Jeez.
said.
I'm just saying everybody has an insecurity
Everybody does
about.
have insecurities. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, I'm processing the whole color of the
Oh,
paint on the
I mean,
wall piece.
I was just throwing
That
something
messed
out.
me up. That
I
threw
was
me
just
off.
saying an insecurity is not just something that like I'm insecure because you did something to me. It could be an insecurity that I feel is wrong with me.
Well, insecurities are rooted in your own
And your yes,
self
and yourself.
perception. Their insecurities may be derived from your spouse's position, they're rooted in your own self-perception. Even if it's something as simple as you buying into.
Hmm.
If your spouse constantly berates you, constantly demeans you, constantly talks down to you and never props you up, then you're going to have poor self-esteem.
Hmm.
And so you're going to be insecure about everything no matter what. um, you could have a spouse that does always offer encouragement and positivity, someone who always sees the beauty in everything that you do and say and look and all of that. If you don't believe it because of something else, then you still have an insecurity. Our
Yeah.
insecurities are always rooted in our own self-esteem
But
and our own self-conception
that's what
perception.
I'm saying. Everybody has an insecurity, right?
Everybody has an
Okay.
insecurity.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, the
I'm just saying,
challenge
yeah.
is when you place more emphasis on or more value in stating your insecurities rather than listening to and paying attention to what your spouse is presenting to you of their insecurities.
Yeah.
Because if your spouse is sharing their insecurities with you or their challenges with you, their issues with you based on something you did or said, uh, to turn it back to yourself to make you the victim
Right.
rather than the aggressor
Yeah.
or the oppressor or whatever the case might be. That says I'm more important than you.
Yeah.
And at the end
That's
of the
that
day,
worst.
yes,
Yeah.
that's that full worst.
Worst means the most serious or unpleasant thing that could happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Worse.
And nothing is worse than finding out that you are not your spouse's priority.
Right.
There's nothing worse than that, because I thought we were in this together.
Mhm.
And whenever an action or a statement, a deed shows something to the contrary,
Mhm.
now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And so it's important that you remember your vows. I'm committing to my spouse that they're going to be my number one priority. Of course, there are going to be days where you won't be able to tend to your spouse because of work, or maybe you need to tend to a child or a family member. You cannot be there for your spouse if you need to be there for someone else. And they understand
But I about to say,
that.
but the other spouse should understand
Right,
that
right.
because sometimes the spouse who's I don't want to say doing everything, but feels like they're doing
Hmm.
everything, and the other spouse isn't.
Yeah,
That can be a burden on the
absolutely.
spouse who is doing everything, and if it's not communicated right, it can be more flammable. It can be set fire to
Mhm.
the relationship more
Yeah,
because it's feeling like I'm doing this and then you're just not doing nothing.
yeah,
You just watching me do everything,
right.
and it can become that big argument or that I don't want to be here anymore or
Hmm.
um I need space
Yeah,
for like a whole week.
yeah. It's a challenge, and we're going to be talking about this the whole month.
Yes.
So I don't want you to feel like you're going to miss anything. We're going to, because we're going to be discussing wedding vows. It's a vows series. The entire month of May, we're going to be talking about this and unpacking this. So you're going to be getting tips and suggestions and helpful hints all throughout the month of May. So don't worry that we didn't give you too much tonight.
Mhm.
But I want you to remember this. Remember your vows. I want you to go back this weekend. I know it's Mother's Day. Okay, so we won't do it this weekend, but maybe Monday because nothing's on Monday. There's no football. So Monday night, go back, get with your spouse, and watch the video if you have it of your wedding. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, we've been married for 60 years. Anybody don't we don't know where that old Betamax, I mean that old videotape is. Um, if you have the opportunity, go back and watch your wedding video and remind yourself of what happened that day. Remind yourself of what you said, not your spouse. Remind yourself of what you said. You've got to remember your vows. You've got to remember that marriage is a covenant, not a contract. And a contract, I'm trying to get the most out of it
Mhm.
by investing the least into it. In a covenant, I'm giving the most to it, expecting the least from it. We're talking about vows all month long. We're going to be unpacking them. We're going to be walking through them, because what we're looking for is to give you an opportunity to increase how much you enjoy
Your
your
marriage.
marriage.
Yes, we wanna enjoy marriages.
Got to get to that place where
Jeez.
you can. Are
Too
you
many
going to have
people
some
not
struggles?
enjoying marriages.
Yeah, yeah. You're going to have some struggles. You're going to have some challenges. But the truth of the matter is, despite the struggles and the challenges, you can overcome. You see us sitting here week after week laughing about what happened 20 years ago,
Mm,
how things were in the first couple of years of our marriage. The book that I wrote, Divorced Over Toilet Paper, was us
yeah.
20 years ago. And 20 years later, we it doesn't impact us like it did before.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
we still go through things,
we go
but
through
it's
different
not as
things.
heated as it was in the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
I
and
mean, because we've learned and we've grown together and talked and resolved things and learn how to say things in a different way and learn how to listen when
yes,
the other one is
yeah,
talking.
and learn how to communicate better.
Yes.
I'm a very wordy person, so I use a lot of adjectives to describe whatever, and that drives her crazy, and I lose her. So I've learned how to not dumb it down. I've not. I've not,
Yeah, don't
I've
ever say
not
that
done
to
that.
your
Well, what I've
spouse.
learned how to do
You need me to
was
dumb it
use.
down? That's that sounds so rude. Please, men, do
Don't say
not
that.
say that to
Don't
your
say that.
wives.
Please don't say that.
You need me to dumb it down for
Yeah,
you?
and don't think that.
Don't think
Um,
it, because it will come out.
it will listen when you mad. You don't know what you
Everything
gonna
will
say.
come out.
You liable to say everything, not just anything. You liable to say everything. But what I've learned in our communication is to say it her way, and we'll talk about that more later as we get
I
through.
was like, "Oh, you do?"
You
Oh,
understand
well,
me
I
better.
understand it. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you. It doesn't take a lot
yes,
for
it
you to
doesn't.
understand me
It's
anymore.
just like, get to the point.
Yeah. And so I've learned to share with her my feelings her way so that she gets what she needs and then is armed with the ammunition she needs to do it. So I want you to make sure that you're with us each and every week. If you happen to miss a show, go to the YouTube channel, click that bell, and click the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, Happy Spouse, Happy House Couch Conversations channel, so that you can go back and watch these and review these. Talk about these with your spouse. Have the conversations that you need to have. The time is already spent for tonight, so we're going to move into the Vetta's Verse segment. And I want you to pay close attention because tonight she's got some gems that you're going to need as you go through the next few days.
That verse is going to start with two questions. What are some ways you quietly get even when your spouse hurts you? Mm. And how can you handle the hurt more constructively? This Veda's verse for tonight is titled The Forgiveness Process. When you forgive someone, you do three basic things. First, you surrender your right to get even. If you have been wronged, getting even is the natural impulse, but you resist that impulse. Second, you revise your caricature of the person who hurt you. When you've been deeply wounded by your spouse, you redraw your picture of that person, making him or her not primarily your husband or wife, but rather the person who hurt me. So, in forgiving, you need to reconstruct that image and see the spouse as a flawed, weak human being, not much different from yourself, who hurt you as much out of weakness as out of ill will. And third, you revise your feelings. Gradually, your feelings of rage are transformed into a desire for that person's blessing and for the person's change. This is a gradual process, of course. God can forgive in a single swoosh, but we are not easily forgiven. Creatures for whom almost everything takes time. That is Veda's verse for tonight.
That was helpful. And I hope that you were paying attention. If not, you missed it. That's okay. Go back and watch it again because it is so important that we're not keeping score.
Hmm.
It's so important that we don't focus on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
The good thing about communication is in marriage, there's no time limit. You're not like a Zoom a year ago when the pandemic first hit. Everybody went out and got a free Zoom account, but you could only be on there for 40 minutes, and then it just cuts you off. Well, that's not what you're dealing with. You're not on a limited time frame in terms of communication.
Right.
You can take as long as it takes to get an understanding, to get clarity, and to get on the same page.
And be patient.
Patient,
Patient.
patient. What was that? Oh, Dream Girls. Patient, little brother. Anyway, you want to be patient. Why rush it? You've got the rest of your life together. Don't rush it because you want to get it right. It's like that good meat. You want to let it breathe and you want to let it braise that. And you can't rush it. You take it out too soon, then you won't be able to do anything with it. So this month, vow series to part one, when for better becomes for worse. What do you do? Stop, think, listen, remember, refocus. Write that in your notes. You're going to need that later.
Refocus.
Refocus and make sure that your aim is not to destroy, but to rebuild the relationship and
That's
get your
good.
place back to working together and on the same page. Make sure you're with us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter. And tonight, for the first time, we have launched live on Periscope. So Periscope and Twitter
Yay.
have married themselves together, but we are live on Periscope. So we're live on Periscope, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we're live with the Awesome God Radio Network, and we're so still glad about the relationship with them and all of the doors that that relationship is opening. They are in SoundCloud, so you can go to SoundCloud via Awesome God Radio Network and listen to us there as well. And you can get an audio version of the couch conversation, so you can listen to it while you're working out, listen to it while you're riding your bike, or whatever it is that you are engaging in, and just have us in your ear because we're giving you some great information. Make sure you're with us next week so that you can get part two of the VOWS series. Let me pull that up real quick. And I see part two of the VOWS series. This one, this one's going to be a challenge. This one's I might want to. We might have to talk about the order. Can we? We're going to talk about the order because I like the second one, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to give it to you now. We're going to do this next week on the 13th. Vow Series Part 2, The Stress of Health and Wealth, for Richer, for Poorer, in Sickness and in Health. We're gonna save the other one for next week, for the week
For the
after.
week after.
So next week we're gonna talk about money. We're gonna talk about health, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health.
And do you still say I do?
You best to, because you
After
already
for better
did.
and for worse.
But make sure that you are remembering your why. Why did I get
Why did I get
married?
married?
Remind yourself of that before you remind your spouse of that. Focus on the positive, and you'll be good. You'll be all right, because we, at the end of the day, we're in this together.
And hear that sound.
What's that?
Dum dum dum
Good
dum
Lord.
dum 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 dum. We
You know
all
that's gonna be in my head
rise.
all night, right?
Dum dum
Wait a
dum
minute. We
dum
get up
dum
because the
dum
bride coming
dum.
in the
I
room. I'm
know.
already standing at
No,
the
we get
altar.
up because it's going to be a union.
That is not why
Yes,
we get
because
up.
the
We get
bride
up
is
because the bride
walking
is coming
down
down
to
the
the
aisle. Quit
yes,
playing.
that
That,
is true.
that's not the wedding song. That's the bride coming. The name of the song is "Here Comes the Bride." Y'all quit playing.
Yes, but she's
See?
coming to her man.
Prayerfully,
Well, who else she gonna come to?
she coming down the aisle so everybody can see her.
Oh goodness.
He's standing there
We
waiting.
excited.
And
Dum dum dum
stop it, because
dum.
you know it's gonna be in my head all night. Listen, that's better.
And he's Mac.
This has been
Couch
Couch Conversations.
Conversations.
We'll see you next week.
See you
God
guys.
bless you.
Have a great
Peace.
night.